Good morning. This is Matt Browning, Evolution Seminars. I'm here, as you can see, with my dear friend Arvee Robinson. Hello, Arvee. How are you?
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Very, very good. I'm so glad you're on the phone or on the Hangout, whatever this is.
This is my first hangout. I'm really excited to hang out with you.
I cannot wait. We have a really, really cool 30 minutes coming up. So welcome. If you haven't seen this before, we're doing the Summit Series interview series. And we have an event coming up in a week called the Business Breakthrough Summit, where we're having just a ton of business experts who, in my opinion, they overlap with what we do at Evolution Seminars, but they go much deeper on certain aspects. So this morning, I'm really thrilled and grateful to have Arvee Robinson. She's been a dear friend for years. I've had the privilege of being one of the many mentors to help in certain aspects of her business. She has helped me tremendously from her side as well. She is an expert master public speaking trainer. And what Arvee has built an entire business around for almost a decade, over a decade, some extremely long period of time. She's been building a business literally around taking anybody, whether you're a business owner, you're wanting to start a business, or you are in the public speaking field or seminar field, and teaching you the art of public speaking. And there's a lot that you can get into, but to me, the thing that she is most powerful about is just being on stage. How do you speak? How do you make a speech? How do you know where to speak? How do you speak and get people to opt in and join your list? How do you all that stuff. So I just want to jump right into it, Arvee, and I'd like to jump right in and ask you a couple questions.
Great, I'm ready.
Cool. The first thing that always strikes me is, you know, we teach obviously some elements of speaking and stage presence as well with our NLP seminars.
Right.
But what always struck me about you is I figure, hey, if you're going to be running a seminar, you need to be speaking. But a lot of your clients are just everyday regular business owners and people, and you have this passion to say you're an accountant, but you need to be speaking. So tell me why an accountant or virtually anybody needs to be public speaking, whether they know it or not.
Right. Well, it's because if you want more business, no matter what business you're in, if you want more business, you need to get in front of more people. That's the secret. And public speaking is a great way to leverage yourself, leverage your time, get in front of more people, and then gain visibility in your market. Let them know what you're doing, and start attracting clients like a magnet to you, people that want to work with you. So speaking is key to growing any business.
So you're talking about like lead generation, basically, right, for a new business?
Right, lead generation. It positions you as an expert. You can build your database. You can get referrals. So, I mean, there's so many benefits to get out there and speak in your business. So I specialize in really helping the entrepreneur and business owner to use it as a marketing strategy to grow their business.
See, and I love that. It's so brilliant because so many people think of public speaking as this secret realm where, oh, I'm going to be a public speaker or I'm not.
Right.
But when I think about you, I think, God, there's an accountant. There's you know, a regular, everyday sort of business person. But where do they get their business? Yellow Pages is dead. Penny Saver is stupid. Craigslist is just absolutely dumb. And then you have, you know, Facebook and internet marketing and social media and like, okay, great. But where else do you get it? So you're saying, I mean, just get out there and speak.
Right. I'm saying you can eliminate most of those things and just speak and learn how to do it right, though. I'm not talking about Joe Smo, business owner, going out there and flapping his jaw just because he can or she can. I'm saying learn how to do it right, speak persuasively, craft your presentation with a, you know, like what I call the speech sandwich, and get out there and you can get a ton of business and do very little else, you know, to grow your business.
Nice. So give me an example, like say, okay, I'm just a regular business owner, I don't do seminars and trainings, or maybe I do, maybe I'm a coach, right? And people are always struggling as a coach or a practitioner, hypnotherapist, people will be trained. So if you're watching this right now, you might be thinking, yeah, that sounds great, I need to get a new client, but what do people normally do to get new clients in the like face-to-face arena that you see that seems to be really ineffective?
What's ineffective is there's no follow-up, very little follow-up. So they'll go to a networking event.
Networking events.
Right, networking events. They'll exchange cards, they'll talk with somebody, and then they really don't make that life connection. And each person, you see, is trying to sell each other. So oftentimes people show up and they throw up. So people are afraid to even ask what you do because they come like this, no, you're not going to sell me, you're not going to sell me, and then someone tries to sell them. So as a
God.
business owner, the key is you got to get this to come like this, so there's an open heart, open ears, so people will listen to you. And what you want to do is be like an ambassador where you're looking for key clients. So what does that mean? That means you need to start interviewing people. You don't want to just take anybody on. But so many people go to a networking event and they just blah, whatever it is they do, and they don't take into consideration, do I really want this person as a client? Is it a good referral source? Is it a good connection? Is it a good JV? So
Right.
get to know people at networking events. But most people really waste their time. They don't know how to network effectively.
Wow, amen to that. And it's funny because how many people say that's what you got to do, and I've known people, clients, friends that have gone. I used to, I just hate it. I
Yeah.
go to almost no networking groups anymore, but I'll go if I'm a speaker because
Right.
that's talk about a big difference, right?
That's the key. You want to be a speaker at a networking event. And just think, for most business owners, if you spoke to a group once a week, 25 people, that's 100 more people that you would be in front of that you normally wouldn't. So you're going to do whatever marketing strategies you do now. Just don't change anything. I'm saying add public speaking. So now 100 new people you're in front of. And Matt, if you're like me, you work about 10 months out of the year. So you take off New Year, January and December. So 10 times 100, that's 1,000 new people you'd be in front of in
Wow.
a year. Now just think, if you go back to the 25 people, how many leads could you really generate? That's people coming to you, hot leads, and saying, I'm interested, that was a great speech, how do I get in hold of you? Usually about 5 out of 25. So how many can you close? If you learn how to close. You don't close there. See, speakers make the mistake that they watch other speakers close from the platform and they think that they have to close. Well, you can't close anything in 30 minutes. And that's what
Right.
most people have time to speak. So don't try to close. I tell people 200 speeches. Get 200 speeches under your belt before you ever think about closing from the stage.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's say you got those 3 hot leads, and or 5, and you closed 3 out of the 5. Now, what is one lead worth to you? 1,000, 5,000? Now you take that, so you close 3 clients. Take that times what? Times 4.
Right.
Times 10. And what is that?
I don't have no idea. I was back in 9th grade math class, but I can tell you it's probably a lot.
Right.
So let me back up, and I want to ask you something, because one thing you throw out the word close, and I think that could actually use a little more expansion.
Okay.
When we're out there public speaking, right? So you say you're talking about getting on stage at a networking event, right?
Yes.
And you're not a public speaker. You are an accountant. I love that analogy, because they don't think of themselves as a speaker or a trainer or a salesperson or anything. They're like, I just crunch numbers. I just account. But
Right.
now they have a chance to speak, and whether it's 1 minute at a networking event to say this is what I do and who I am, or you're the main keynote speaker, the person who people came to see.
Right.
So what happens? So I get up on stage, and what do most speakers do that you would say is a bad idea at the end of their talk? And then what do speakers who are effective do?
All right, good question. Because most business speakers are not trained, and they need to be trained. And that's, we've all seen them. We go to these networking events, and we're bored to tears. We shut off, we shut down, we don't listen, we don't even go and talk to them. And the speaker, oftentimes the speaker, they'll just go, well, I'm just an accountant. Well, no. You are an individual, you are a business owner, and it is your duty to learn how to speak, because even if you're business owner that's an accountant or an attorney or insurance or whatever, you have a message, a very unique message that only you can share to people that can only hear it from you. So just know that you're special. And that if you don't know how to get it out, it's not going to come out right. You're not going to get business. You're not going to help anybody out there in the world. And that message could be undone for all eternity. In other words, it's been gifted to you, and only you can deliver it. And that message will save somebody's life or business. So when you take on the seriousness of what we have inside of us, then it's really important for us to get trained and do it right, because otherwise that message will be mumbled and fumbled and you won't get any business. So to answer your question, what most business speakers do is they start out wrong, They start out with, I'm with, Citizens Bank, and we got banks all over the place. Who cares? Nobody cares.
What's in it for me?
Right. And then
WIFM, baby.
Yeah, and then they end with, are there any questions? So both of those, again, I teach people the sandwich. Let me see if I can get the sandwich here. So if you do the sandwich effect, the first 5 steps is the rapport building. The last is the close, or what I call an invitation to do business.
Oh,
and
good.
all untrained business speakers blow those 2 areas. So what happens is the sandwich falls apart, or they have this open-faced sandwich, which no one can eat.
Okay, because I wanted to ask you about that in a second, but let's just jump right into it. So,
okay.
One of the processes you sort of teach, or the structure, is using a speaking sandwich. Great metaphor, right?
Right. I love sandwiches.
Right? Who doesn't love a good sandwich? Hanging out on the beach, have a good sandwich. So, if you're gonna have a speaking sandwich, so think of it as a sandwich, and you're gonna go up and talk for 30 minutes, let's say, right?
Right.
And you only have 30 minutes to get something across to them. So rather than showing up as, I'm from Citizens Bank, and let me tell you about my bank, and we have programs, and how great is that? And then, do you have any questions? And then at the end of it, what happens? People just go, well, that was lame, and then they leave.
Right.
To me, what I'm hearing from you is the most important thing to realize, first off, is that your point, your whole reason for speaking in the first place has to be precise.
Yes.
So, like for me and you, I know in our business, if I'm going to speak, my reason is at the end of my talk, I want as many people as possible to commit to doing something else with me, whether it's having a consultation, or it's coming to a seminar, or it's getting a book from me, or joining my mailing list, whatever it is. We want, that's effectiveness, right? We want someone to actually join us.
Right.
So what's the sandwich metaphor of, like, what would you start with, what do you need to do in the middle, and what do you need to end with to make sure we can get that done?
Okay. So we want to start there's 5 steps, and it's all at the top piece, and it's all about building rapport with your audience. So each of those steps builds rapport. And, the first one, we start with an attention grabber, and we go down the line to just build rapport. In the middle is the meat. Now, that's your content. You know your content. Now, anything can go in the meat. So we can put stories in the meat, we can put quotes in the meat, we can put jokes in the meat, we can put exercises. And see, a mistake a lot of untrained speakers make is they want to start out with a quote. So if I started my presentation with Tony Robbins says that good isn't good enough, you must be outstanding, you must
Right.
stand out from the rest. Who are you thinking about?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. You're not thinking
Right.
about you. And it's time for rapport. Rapport means you've got to get your audience to love. And it used to be in corporate America, we would say, like, trust, and what was it? I drew a blank, but
some kind of a corporate thing.
Yeah, but you got to get your audience to fall in love with you. So how do you do that? By loving on them. So you love on them, and then you put any of that other stuff in the middle, and then the close is all about the invitation to do business with you. So for instance, Matt, a minute ago you just said that we want, as business owners, to get people to take our next program. That's true. Think of it like this. What we're actually asking our audience to do is to take the next step for them, because what your audience really wants is transformation. Transformation leading to permanent change. You cannot get transformation in a 30-minute speech. After all, it took God 7 days to create the world, and He's God, So what makes, us think we can do anything, in 30 minutes? We can't. We can create breakthroughs. We can create awareness. But the real journey for permanent change, now again, I'm not talking about what you do, man. I've seen you do some really miraculous things, but I'm talking most business owners. Most business owners in what we do takes time to get that permanent change and transformation.
Right.
And so we want to invite our audience to have that. That's really what you're inviting them to do as a business owner, to experience, a really great life.
Right. So, like, going back to that, like, say, like the accountant metaphor that I was using earlier, if I'm an accountant and I speak for 30 minutes, what can I really do to shift and change your business? Well, I can make you aware of tax problems or special accounting things, or I can say, hey, check out this new software that's really cool. That's what I use. You should use that too. But really, the transformation is going to come from maybe I take over doing your books at a really great
Right.
rate that's going to totally transform your free time, or save you from a tax, pothole, or
Right.
something like that, right? So,
Right. Some
so,
business coaching or business consulting.
and you can't really make a transformation in somebody's business if you're talking to the group. That's another thing that's important, wouldn't you say?
Right. Right. Absolutely. It's
So
an
it might take some
individual.
one-on-one time.
Yes, it's an individual journey.
Hmm.
hmm
Cool.
Yeah.
So okay, so now let's see. I go up and from where we just kind of left off, now I have an idea where okay, I'm going to go up and I'm going to talk in a networking group.
hmm
How do you? We've already talked about networking groups. How in the world, if I'm not a speaker, how do I position myself, and how would I show up as a brand new coach or an accountant? Maybe I've been going to a networking group a couple times. How do I get the job as keynote speaker? How do I say I want to be the speaker next time? Like,
You you ask. I mean, you ask really. So
no joke.
there's three approaches. So think about it. When you want money, where do you go? Oftentimes we go to our ATM machine. So speaking is the same as that. So the A stands for ask. So you want to ask any organization that you belong to if
Yeah.
you can speak at that organization. What are they going to say? No. Most of the time they're going to say yes. Most of the time they didn't even know you were a speaker.
No
And that's
joke.
no joke. And that's the second thing you want to do is tell. So you want to tell everybody, take it on, own it. I am now a speaker. I'm an international speaker. I'm a business speaker. I'm a Christian speaker. I'm an inspiring speaker. I'm a motivational speaker, whatever you want to call yourself. And
Right.
every time you get up at a networking event and do your 30-second self-introduction, that should be a part of it. So you might say, I'm a life coach and I'm a speaker. And I'm a
Hmm.
speaker looking for speaking engagements. If you know of anybody who has an organization looking for speakers, please let me know. So you put it out there in the world. And then
Hmm.
the M is for mail. Get your one sheet, a speaker one sheet, write a cover letter, and start mailing to your target market and tell them you're looking for speaking engagements. Let them know you'll speak for free. For business owners, this is a free local talk strategy where you speak for free, get the experience, get the exposure and the visibility in your business. So it's
Hmm.
not a paid speaking thing, although sometimes places will pay you a small honorarium. Honorarium is usually anything under $1,000. But you
Wow.
want to get there to get business. It's not
Right.
there to be a high-paid speaker.
Hmm. Yeah, we talk about quite a bit, like, say, the sales funnel of a business, right?
hmm
And people make the mistake so often, I see, of trying to make whatever they like. We just talked about this in our mentoring group, where we have that Pinnacle mentoring group that we'll talk about, later as part of the summit we do. And I'm talking to the group, and people are always wrapped up in this. Well, I'm worth this, or I need to value myself, and my speech, if I talk for an hour, is worth $1,000, so I'm going to charge $1,000. And I say I've charged $10,000 for a keynote and gotten it. I've charged $5,000 for a keynote, half price. I've charged $1,000. I've charged nothing, probably 95 or 99% of the time. But the neat thing is, I can feel good to be worth $10,000 for a corporate talk or a conference. But to me, I feel like I don't really care what I'm worth. What I care about is what is somebody looking for or expecting. Right? So if I go to a high school, for instance, they're probably going to look for a free speaker, and I'll say, no problem, I'll waive my fee for you. But if I went to the El Pollo Loco Managers Conference of America or something, they're not looking for a free speaker. They have a budget for a speaker. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know if you could talk about that a little bit, because a lot of speakers have a dream of keynoting, right, and going around in the U.S. and different places. Where would you start?
Right. That's a very good question, and you have to start at the beginning. You have to start where you are now, and that is learning how to speak right,
Amen.
practicing, going to these different organizations, which you could call like places to practice, or sometimes other people have told me places to fail, if you want, where you can just practice, practice, practice. See, if you look at speaking, I have a lot of people come to me and they want to learn how to be a top paid public speaker, and they're an unknown. And I let them know, well, if you're an athlete, if you were born into a family, if you're a celebrity, or maybe the person with no arms and no legs, you could get there fast. All the rest of us have to go on the journey, and it's no different than being an actress. You wouldn't come to me and
Right.
say, well, how do I get paid $1 million, and get a top role in the hottest movie? You would never
Right.
even say that. But
Right.
speakers come to me and they think that. And so it's
That
no
is
different.
such a
You've
great
got to,
analogy, and it's so
yeah.
true.
You've got to do the journey. So right now, like, let's take Jack Canfield, for instance. Now,
Sure.
Jack Canfield has been around for what, 30 years? You
True.
think 30 years? As a matter of fact, I saw Jack Canfield. I shouldn't say 30 years ago, but it was quite a while
So
ago.
you were like 5, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was at a networking event, and he was there free. It was before the Chicken Soup of the Soul books came out. It was right when they were starting that. And he spoke for free to a bunch of manufacturing, business people. And then, yeah, and now he's charging $35,000 a speech plus expenses. He
Right.
cruises up in a limousine, right? His own limousine, and
Right.
you have to pay for his expenses or whatever. But it's been 30 years that he's grown that. But I've got
Right.
some, students that come to me. They want to make $35,000 now. It's like, you got to be kidding.
I
There's
love
no way.
that. And can I just say too, like, your approach is so refreshing. If you guys are watching this right now, I want you to really get that Arvee not only knows what she's doing with training public speakers, but that strategy is golden. The analogy of the movie star is absolutely accurate. Will Smith didn't walk up. Look at anyone's IMDb, like their movie database, and look at their resume, and it always starts off the same. It's like blockbuster this year,
Right.
minor blockbuster last year, supporting role, supporting role. And if you go all the way back 15 years, it's like a bunch of movies, commercials, TV,
Right.
one episode here, one episode there that no one ever knew who they were. Jay Leno was in the Doritos commercial, and that.
Right. Some of them are in those B movies, those monster movies.
Oh my God! But they got started like that, so I
That's
love
right.
that. I just hadn't thought of it like that, and it's so critical. So you got to start out where you are. So be okay to get practice. Be okay to, I can't. I mean, I know you and I have a similar story of speaking to 4 people here or 2 people there. Or I've shown up to speak and there's no one that came, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna go home. But like it works. So
Right.
I
Right
want to take a
now,
second.
yes. Speak to anybody who'll listen. Get at least 200 speeches under your belt before you even think about selling from the stage and getting on big stages. And this is a general. There's some superstars that are just gonna, just be more natural at it, and some that
Right.
it might take a little bit longer. But the key is get started. Know that you have a special message and get started. Get
Nice.
trained and then get started.
Cool. Thank you for that. So here's what I want to do at this point is I want to ask you one more really important question. And I know you have just a ton of like an arsenal in your Bat utility belt or your Wonder Woman belt of where people could go, maybe where you've gone in the past to get a speaking engagement. Like we talked about networking groups, but if you could share maybe 1 or 2 at the end of this interview of a place that maybe someone hadn't thought of. Oh my God, I could go there, and yeah. You can go in front of 10 people, but if 10 people, you get 8 people to say lead and give you a card, and you can follow up with them. That turns into 2 clients or whatever, and it's worth something now. So I want to take a second and say, Arvee mentioned repeatedly, and I totally agree. If you want to get started and really crank it, you have 2 things. You need to get the right training, and then get out there and get the experience and practice. Right. So the experience and practice comes with experience, but the right training, there's a lot of places you can go to get, quote, public speaking training. And Arvee is absolutely on my list. She's at the very, very top, is one of the very best in the industry. One reason, in my opinion, is because she doesn't do anything but that. Right. And, like I said, we have different speaker type training, right? We have boot camps and things, but we'll teach you how to use NLP or how to use certain influenced languaging and how to stage presence and really cool stuff. Arvee's the one that just says, this is how you start speaking, and this is the training you need. So I know you have something really special for the listeners, and I'd love to hear what you have. You have a course coming up, I believe it's on the 29th, is it?
Yes, May 29th.
Yeah. Next one's May 29th. But yeah, so tell them what you got. I love this course.
It's called Speak Up, Cash In. So it's a full day training with me, and it's only $47, and you can bring a friend. So it's a really great way to get started and just see if public speaking is what you want to use in your business. And if you're already speaking, there's going to be a lot of tips that's just going to elevate whatever you're doing now. So there's a lot. It's a full day experience. I'm really going to get deep and teach you some great things and just give you a couple other opportunities to even go deeper.
Very cool. So whether if you're already speaking right now or you haven't even thought about it yet till right now, it would be a good idea to go.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to be sharing the three speeches you need to have in business, 4 different stories you need to add in your presentation, how to do a speaker introduction, how to stand when you speak and stand in your power, how to collect all the business contacts in the room in like 3 minutes or less. So just a lot of stuff, and we have a lot of fun. So it's really a fun day. And you've been, Matt, you've spoken at the event before, so it's just a lot of fun.
Very cool. So that is crazy powerful. What I'd like you to do is, in fact, I was going to say, I actually used your technique. I got invited through using one of your techniques. I got invited to speak at Entrepreneur Organization, which is a huge organization of entrepreneurs and business owners. And in that place, I can't charge for it. I can't sell anything. It's very frowned upon. So I was like, what should I? Oh, I know. I'll just use Arvee's business card collecting technique. We walked out. There was 110 people in the room, and we walked out with 60 people who said, yeah, I want to know more about this. And we had 60 people to add to the database, plus we had 10 consultations already booked just from not even selling anything, just telling them what I have, doing your ATM method. So
beautiful.
You got to go and find out what are the 3 speeches, what are the stories you need, how do you do an introduction. If you don't know how to do that, or you don't know how to, I tell people, right? I know Arvee does the same thing. Like before the interview, she said, hey, here's some things to ask me. Before you go to speak somewhere, she says, here's how to introduce me so you don't have to do it yourself. You get all that and more. It's a full day training. May 29th is the next one. I know you'll have another one after that.
Right. If
you want to take advantage of that, it's Speak Up Cash In. I know it's more usually, but it's $47, and you bring a friend. So I don't even know what the math is, but it's just, it's dumb not to do it, so make sure you do it. If you scroll down below the video, you'll see a button on the video that says, I always forget what the button says on there. It says something about get some cool stuff. There we go. Let's get you started, claim your success. So the button on the left on the website below the video, let's get you started. Click on that. It'll go to Arvee's page so you can get enrolled in the training. The other way to see Arvee more, so that'll be May 29th. In 1 week from now, May 14th through the 17th, Arvee, you're going to be a special guest expert coming at our Business Breakthrough Summit, and I'm super stoked about that. I know you are too.
Me too, yes.
You know, this is, I'll tell you just for a minute what's going to happen there to make sure you have an idea. It's going to take whether you're wanting to start a business and you're currently working, or you've just started and looking for traction, or honestly, if you're already cranking the first couple of years maybe and you want to get to the next level and really make it happen. We're centered mostly around service, product businesses. So anything from an accountant to a coach to a speaker, hypnotherapists, practitioners, we teach a lot of them, so we have quite a few coach-style businesses. It's going to be centered around there, but honestly, it's for anyone else as well. You're going to get value from that. The tickets are usually $9.97. We're on early bird special right now for $97. So $97, and as Arvee said too with hers, you can bring a friend, ideally a business partner, a family member, someone you want to do some work with would be great. We go Wednesday evening. Thursday, we spend the whole day doing breakthrough work, all about the inner game and working on the inner mind stuff to get out of your own way to succeed. Friday, we're doing business strategy work, and Arvee is going to be speaking on Friday about how to implement public speaking as a strategy to get your business going. So you are my public speaking expert. I'm really excited to have you there.
Yay!
So you get a chance to see Arvee on stage as well, and you can see her chops and see her actually speak. You'll also have a chance to see me up there. I'm going to be teaching quite a bit, obviously. And then Saturday, we're going to do a day we'll end a little early at 7, and we'll have a day on tools and technology. So all about everything from autoresponders to shopping carts to websites to blogs to how do you email, how do you do a Google Hangout, like the stuff that you need tool-wise to make a business work. And we're going to make it really simple, even social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, things like that. So we're going to be getting deep on that. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Wednesday's an evening, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, full days. I hope you can make it there. If you want to, you can go and scroll below the video real quick and check out, and you can see the page to describe everything, gives you the schedule and everything you need. On the right of down below the video on the right, it says, get your discount ticket to the summit. Click on there, and you can go down and get that and check it out. I'll see you then. So let's wrap up. It's 11:30, so we got 30 seconds,
Okay.
maybe a minute. But Arvee, I'd love to hear that last question I asked you is, what's like maybe one space that someone wouldn't have thought of to get a business, easy for me to say right now. I'm
A speaking engagement?
A speaking engagement, yeah.
Oh,
You got me all flustered.
There's so many, but I think the hottest one right now are meetup groups. There's a lot of meetup groups around. Just go find a meetup group that has your target market in it, contact them, and get out there and start speaking.
So meetup.com, literally using the meetup groups.
Meetup.com.
Did you know that meetup groups actually want speakers?
Yes, they do. And there's so many meetup groups now.
Yeah.
And they meet like every week, every day of the week. So there's plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, and I don't know how much that you've made on Meetup yet, but I'll tell you what, like just utilizing Meetup, that's one of the strategies I learned from you. And we have made well into 6 figures just on Meetup groups. Business, well into it over the years. So use that tool and that tip. You show up as a speaker and you'll be the expert. Thank you so much, Arvee. You've been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Arvee. Thank you for watching this, and really looking forward to seeing all you guys later. This is the last interview, I believe, this week for the Summit Series interviews, and we'll see, hopefully, all of you guys next week at Business Breakthrough Summit. If you're watching this later, keep an eye out. I'm sure you can click down. You can find the next dates, and you can come to that as well. Make sure you take Arvee up and click on her button to come to Speak Up Cash In. It's an awesome one day. Can't wait to see you guys. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.